If I look a little bit tired, it's because I am, but I'm also energized at the same time. You know why we're here. 10K on 10-1, raising $10,000 through charity water for the people of Orissa, India. As I've been stating in other chats we have, is that one of the greatest things about all of this is that we're not only giving to those people there, providing water to Orissa, India, but we're also providing clarity to our peeps, because we have these great speakers who are spending time with us, kicking it, Q&A. They're not really just talking to us, but they're answering specific questions. So today I am, or right now I should say, I'm very blessed to have Jenny Blake with me. Hey Jenny, how you doing?
Hi Mike, it's the pleasure and honor is all mine. It's great to be here.
Yay. So for those of you who don't know Jenny, I'll just say a little bit about her as far as writing her book, Life After College, former Googler, definitely a yogi. Are you officially like considered yogi?
Yep.
Okay. Yogi, great smile you'll see. What else about Jenny? Wicked smart, because I'm in Massachusetts. I gotta say it that way. Wicked smart. Quick story. Well, one time in band camp, I was going to, we were at WDS, the first WDS, and after WDS I was going to go on an informational interview about learning and development. We had 15 minutes from where we were on this bus ride to get to the party, and Jenny just broke down everything you ever need to know about learning and development, and I was forever a fan of hers from that point forward, because it was a time of having fun, but she took the time out in order to help me, and it was very helpful. So thank you, Jenny.
You're so welcome. I'm thrilled that we got to meet many years ago, and it's been so fun to watch what you've been up to since. So I'm just trying to keep up, Mike. I'm just trying to keep up.
Oh, please, try to keep up. No way. So speaking of keeping up, so tell us a little bit about what you're working on.
Sure. So, some of you watching may know I have a website, lifeaftercollege.org, and if not, you could go check it out. It's going to be turning 8 years old soon, which is absolutely insane. The blog will turn 6 in December. And a big move for me was to figure out, what does my life after college look like? And I launched my own website, jennyblake.me, back in June of this year. So the next direction that I'm really interested in is looking at the intersection of mind, body, and business, and how do we optimize our systems for all three. I was finding that a lot of the business books and literature didn't really bring the body and health into the conversation, and a lot of the health books might be too medical focused or too dense or even sometimes depressing, and then a lot of the spiritual, the mindset texts, sometimes were too woo-woo, too out there. So I'm really interested in how do we bring all three together and optimize our systems for mind, body, and business so that we can be happy and healthy and have a sustainable, really engaging, creative career.
Excellent. Do you know, you must know Kyle Duran.
Know who?
Do you know Kyle Duran?
Just got off the phone with him.
Okay. Because just the whole business, body, you know, crazy dude with his athletics. Something just, I felt some synergy there.
That's really funny. We literally just hung up. So shout out to Kyle Duran. He is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he was here with us like at 1:30 a.m.
Oh wow!
Those times. So yeah, we were fortunate enough to have him with us during the morning. So
cool.
So that was really good. So tell me a little bit more. So you got this body, mind. So here I am. I'm trying to figure out all this stuff about my body, mind. Who should be coming to you? Who should be coming to talk?
Well, it's a little interesting right now because I am still figuring it out. The coaching, the one-on-one coaching that I do is around helping people launch or elevate a book, blog, or business. And I like to think that I help smart people organize their brain. So when you feel like you have a big tornado swirling around and you don't know what to do with it, it's a joy and a passion of mine, just like we did on that bus at WDS, to help bring it down in 15 minutes. What do you really need to know and do in order to move forward in a way that feels really resonant? So I'm really big on how does the process feel with which you're going about your business or your career. And that brings me to the other piece, the kind of thought leadership piece that I'm really still in the earliest stages of. But what inspired me to even look at this connection of mind, body, and business was that I worked so intensely in the 5.5 years that I was at Google. And in a way, I did it to myself. I started a book and a blog on the side, and I managed that and a full-time job for an overlap for about 3 full years.
Wow.
By the time that I was quitting Google back in 2011, I was so exhausted, and I had burnt out, crashed, and recovered multiple times in the course of those 5 years. And ultimately, even though it was very hard to leave, I knew that for my own physical well-being, I couldn't keep working the way that I was working. And that was one big insight. But then secondly, I also realized, oh, I had this kind of aha moment as an entrepreneur, as a freshly minted solopreneur, that if I was operating at 50%, if I was tired, groggy, cranky, sleep deprived, hadn't been exercising, wasn't eating well, I was operating at 50%. And as the sole employee of my business, then wouldn't it make sense that my business was only operating at 50%? And I started to realize that my health and wellness is absolutely critical now that I'm the only employee for my business. So I really can't afford to be cranky and sleep deprived and moody as I was. I was feeling really like on a roller coaster. And in the last 2 years, I have completely changed and really experimented with meditation, eating. I have not had alcohol this whole year, cut that out completely, kind of as a test to see how it would affect my creativity. And so I'm just really fascinated by how it's counterintuitive. Sometimes people say things like, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead, you know, as a way of being an entrepreneur, and that just never worked for me. So I fundamentally believe that if you do take care of get your body right, get your mind right, that your business will be more successful in the long run. And that's my crazy theory, but I stand behind it.
Yeah, you know, but I think you are you're a testament to it. Just the work that you do from a yoga perspective, the stuff you do in business. Lord knows you can handle a spreadsheet like nobody's business. I remember the one. What was the one that Seth Godin grabbed?
The 15-tab book marketing spreadsheet that people say makes them simultaneously grateful and want to throw up the first time they look at it. So they say it's like really overwhelming, but they're grateful that someone put it all in one place. Because my thinking was, listen, it's an overwhelming process. Why should every author have to reinvent the wheel? And I have to say, I was so embarrassed to show it to Seth Godin and the Domino team, because I felt like, this is how I organize my crazy brain. They're going to think I'm neurotic and so type A and over the top. And in the end, Seth said, this is a great idea. Every author should see this. And he linked to it. And since then, it's been downloaded almost 7,000 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of questions that have come in here.
Awesome.
Let's see. What do you consider your business superpower to be? Something that you do better than anyone else. That's the first one.
What a great question. One thing I like to do is help organize complex information, and particularly around subjects that you might not think to do it. So, you know, I could make a budget spreadsheet for finances, but I'm more interested in a spreadsheet to help launch or market a book or rebrand or relaunch a website. And one thing I really enjoy when I'm on the phone with coaching clients is helping take a swirling tornado of thoughts and giving it some order, structure, and strategy for the way forward. That's something that I just love. Another thing I really enjoy is reading and making connections. I've kind of joked for a long time that if I could get paid to read, I would be in heaven. So I've been really enjoying doing these mind, body, books, and business roundups on Friday or Saturday every week. That's been fun because it's a way to curate, which is something I already do. I'm always that person that tears out magazine articles or newspaper articles. And so now on my blog, it's been fun to curate a selection to help people focus on mind, body, books, and business. And then the last thing is I really do feel positive about the future and optimistic. And so I love to help people not just inspire them to action, but also complement that with very practical tools that you feel like, okay, not only can I see what it is that I want, or I have clarity now on where I'm heading, but here are the tools I can use to get there. And I guess I'll just throw in a fourth thing that I really
superpower?
love. Yeah, I have compassion for people who are in transition and feel confused, because I've been there many times, and I just want to throw that out, as I think that more and more we are going to feel like we are in transition because the economy is changing incredibly quickly. We are all dipping our toes in the water of entrepreneurship at various levels, certainly in the business of creating meaning, as most other jobs are automated and outsourced. And so I think as a result, people are having more kind of crises of confidence. Who am I? What am I doing? How do I contribute? How do I find my place in this world? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if you call it a superpower or not, but I have compassion and I care deeply about helping people who feel a little bit lost and confused find their way.
I think compassion is one superpower we probably don't give enough attention to, because it may feel like you're not doing, quote unquote, doing something,
right?
But to just be, oh, and not to mention you're also a CTI coach, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So the whole just being thing there.
Right.
So we have another question that's here.
Okay.
It says, I graduated a year or two ago, but I've been working a job just to pay the bills, and I'm not fulfilled. What should my first step be towards moving out of this loop?
It depends how urgent you feel about leaving your job. This is such a great question, and I think that sometimes people can feel pressure that I need to quit tomorrow and follow my passion. And I am all for a job that is going to pay the bills while you fund your aspirations. Right. Sometimes it's really nice not to have to worry about how you're going to pay your rent while you're trying to figure out what your strengths are and what it is you want to be doing. So for some people in that situation, I would say make sure you're developing your marketable skills. If you were to quit, what would the next company hire you for, or your clients? What are your strengths? What do you really enjoy doing? And what do you want? What is your vision? So a year from now, what would you love to create in your life? Whether that's a lifestyle piece, a different career path. So if you don't have the answers yet to those things, that's totally okay. I would say as much as you can. There's a threshold, because sometimes the answer is, yeah, get out of there as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I think it is reframing that it's okay not to love your job 100%. And even entrepreneurs and people who have quit might tell you, I don't love my job 100% every day. There's an overarching feeling of gratitude and, for me, freedom that overrides any angst I experience as a solopreneur. But I am happy that I took the time that I did in the corporate world as well. And so I think to the extent that you can look at what you are learning and gaining from being in your job, and it might mean just translating, shifting to a new role within the company, or maybe a new company altogether, or it might mean that you're trying to plan your exit strategy and quit altogether, in which case, yeah, just get really clear on what it is that people will pay you for, how your skills and talents can add value.
Thank you, Jenny. Speaking of, you mentioned freedom. Are you a location independent entrepreneur, or is what you're building specific to an area?
I'm location independent. I live in New York City, and I love New York City. I travel. Last year, I was probably gone about 50% of the year. I lived in Bali and Thailand in the earlier part of this year, and I do travel a lot for speaking engagements, but I do like to have more sense of roots and routine than totally 100% living out of a suitcase, for example. But it's a blend. My business, I have set it up so that I can work from anywhere when I want to. Yeah. And the only thing that ties me to New York is my monthly geek yoga class, which I'm still trying to figure out the best way to run that. But I do enjoy when I'm here bringing entrepreneurs and like-minded people together.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's see if we have any more questions that have come in from the internet.
Cool. I know. Thank you for everyone who's watching and hanging out.
Staying in it. You know, one of the questions that I like to ask to people, and this may have already come out today, is what is the thing that you want to talk about that you just don't get to talk about much? You know, it's because you are known as X, you may end up talking more about X, but in your heart or right behind X is really Y, and not Y as in WHY, but just the letter Y as a variable. Joel, my tech guy, will appreciate that one.
Yeah.
So, what is that you want to talk more about?
What a brilliant question. That's one of my all-time favorites, Mike Rooney.
Thank you.
Ooh, because it's a good one because you're right. The things that maybe I don't talk about more, I'm afraid to talk about. And for me, that's two things. One, up till now, I've been very shy or hesitant to take a stand and actually stand for something. I've sort of gone pretty far on the CTR model as far as my public stuff of like, do whatever you need, do what feels best. And there's a part of me that I do want to say, like, no, get sleep, get exercise, go outside. If those things aren't happening, how can you expect to be creative? And I say that to myself all the time. Like if I'm in a really bad mood, I recently posted, bad mood, get your body right. And that was one of the first times that I really, I think, am starting to just take a stand to say, don't even bother troubleshooting your mood or your business until you've got your fundamentals down. And it's a belief that I hold. Maybe it doesn't work for everyone, or not everyone needs sleep or exercise or to eat right, but I care deeply about it, and I really don't ever talk about it. Now, the second part of that, why do I care? Why? A letter Y and a WHY. I really struggle a lot, and the thing that I don't talk about as much is my own transition and feeling lost or feeling like a fraud or feeling like, what do I do as a creative entrepreneur who blogs publicly when I have nothing to say, or I feel that I have nothing to say, or what do I do when I feel shy, like I don't want to put my whole life out on the internet today, but how do I still be authentic with my audience and my platform, and how do I navigate transition? Part of the reason I stopped drinking alcohol this year was because I felt like I was going insane. And I needed every single brain cell that I could possibly have on my side to be on my side. Alcohol is a depressant, and I just knew this is such an intense year of inner growth and inner transition. It's why I started a meditation practice. So I think that to really answer your question, I probably don't talk about the why. I don't ever want to sound preachy or like I'm up on a high horse, like, oh, get 8 hours of sleep and meditate and eat well because life will be blissful. No, for me, it's really more of a matter of survival and sanity. And entrepreneurship can be very overwhelming for me. Maybe not for everyone, but the uncertainty is intense. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And yet, there's this pressure sometimes, I think, to feel like we have to have all the answers tomorrow, or that we can't change our mind or transition. And there's something about being in a transition period that just takes time. And so that's what I would talk about more, is like, hey, I don't have any advice today. You might just need to rest and take time, because that's what I'm doing,
That's awesome, because you just gave it. You just gave them the advice.
Right.
Yeah, but it's interesting as a coach and thinking about client and just focusing on the client and not necessarily having your own agenda. I'm with you as as a fellow CTI coach, or probably just a coach overall, and and that feeling of taking a stance for things. I think I'll share with you one of the things on my side, not like the people asked, but one of the things on my side that kind of that I've been wrestling with for a while is kind of what I'll call half-stepping.
Yeah.
Where I will do something and it looks good to other people, but I'm like, I really didn't give my all. And that's why it took me a while to decide to move forward with this movement. Because I said, I don't want to do another thing and then say, well, it's okay that we didn't reach the goal because I didn't ask my Aunt May. It's okay because I didn't do X, Y, and Z. So next time, if I put all my guts in it, I'll do it. And I guess it's a fear of failure. So you leave something out. So you can hold that thing and say, well, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. If I did, we'd probably succeed.
Totally. That's such an important one. I was recently at a conference that Seth Godin spoke at. It was called The Work Revolution. And he gave the kickoff talk, and he said, there are 100 people in you. There are 100 of you in this room, and only 3 had the guts to organize this. And I was like, oh, snap. I mean, he was right. He straight up said there were 3 people who had the guts to say, we're going to schedule an event and maybe no one will show up. But here, I made this. And we can only hope for the best. And 100 people showed up. And we're there to inspire a work revolution and rethink how we work. And it was just so powerful to realize how often I think exactly what you said, Mike, that we do hold ourselves back because we're afraid of failure, and we want to kind of have that in our back pocket, like, well, I didn't put it all out there because that was too scary to imagine that no one would show up, or no one would read, or no one would donate.
Which it makes me ask this question because one of the things that provides me support are actually all the people that you can't see right now. You know, it's the Joel who's the tech guy. It's Brian who was just interviewing Tim Grahl. It's Roger who's probably sleeping right now on the couch upstairs. So I hope he's listening. It's all those people that provide support. Where now I've got to a point where I'm like, you know what, teamwork. It's not necessarily like I have to really do this alone. Even if it's looked at as solo, but where's the support structure? What's your kind of take or thought on support structure?
It's critical. It's absolutely critical. I feel just like you do. It takes an army, and we're never truly alone. Even if you think, you know, oh, I work for myself, it really is about figuring out how to ask for help, how to exchange ideas, and really to create community. It's so important.
So, sorry, I was pausing there because I hear them laughing upstairs because I know there's a delay in the tape. So it's probably the part where I said Roger's sleeping, where I said Roger is sleeping on the couch that they started laughing.
That's so funny. That's awesome. I know. Hi, Roger.
Yeah, you know Roger Law, right? Raj Lawson?
I don't think so.
If you see him, you'll know. He's always high-fiving and hugging people at WDS.
That's awesome.
You would know him. Let's see what else I have for you. Any last parting words that you want to share with the crowd? Once again, coming from that inner Jenny, that place that maybe people don't usually get to see, but you know, you sharing it gives someone else permission to be free.
You don't have to do what everyone else is doing, and this is maybe a huge cliche, but I think that it applies to so many areas of life and business and entrepreneurship and even the online world. Anything that you're doing that's a should be reconsidered, in my mind. I think that if you can constantly check in and say, why am I resisting this? It's not just because I'm a bad person or I'm lazy or I'm an idiot. And I just had a conversation like this today with a friend who, you know, had me go through these reframes for myself. But to really think, oh, your resistance is probably in a way trying to tell you something. How can you shift what you're doing slightly to find more enjoyment and more engagement and to find more meaning in it? And really, you know, another perspective that I've taken recently is that every time I complain about something, whether it's email or anything, it's an opportunity in my business. It's an opportunity to systematize, or it's an opportunity to take a step back and revisit, re-examine, explore. And I share all of that to say that you may not land on the answers tomorrow if you're currently facing some big questions, but that if you can just look at what brings you joy, what brings you energy, and what zaps your energy, and try to separate the shoulds from the actual jumping out of your chair with glees to do, then you'll be on the right track. And start small. You don't have to go all or nothing. You don't have to quit your job or make any drastic moves tomorrow, but just start experimenting. And I think also, just Mike, you're such a great example of this, to know when it is time to take a big leap and to put your fear aside, and something might feel, so you might be jumping out of your chair with glee at the same time that you feel totally scared and afraid and vulnerable. And in general, I think that's a good thing. That means that you're on the right track.
Excellent. Well, we want to say thank you, Jenny, so much for taking the time to help us. I mean, you're really here to share your wisdom, your story, and also to help our movement of 10K on 10-1 for charity water that we're trying to do, the people of RISA, and then also helping our peeps at the same time. You can't beat it. So on that note, I'll say thank you very much, and we will see you later.
Thank you for having me, and to everyone for watching and being here.